the live that shook everything. The internet froze the moment Kodak Black's baby mama went live and started saying things nobody expected to hear. It was not just another messy argument. It was not just another celebrity relationship falling apart in public. This time, the claims were personal, explosive, and dangerous enough to make fans stop scrolling and ask one question: how did it get this far? For years, Kodak Black has been known as one of the most unpredictable names in rap. One day he is dropping music that fans call real street poetry. The next day he is trending for something outside the booth. But when Miranda Johnson appeared online and began speaking about their relationship, their child, and what she claimed was happening behind closed doors, the conversation changed instantly. She was not laughing. She was not treating it like entertainment. She sounded frustrated, emotional, and ready to expose everything she believed people had not been seeing. The biggest shock came when health-related allegations started getting repeated online. To be clear, these are claims and rumors, not confirmed facts. But in the world of hip-hop drama, sometimes an accusation alone is enough to light the whole internet on fire. Fans began clipping the live, reposting every sentence, and debating whether Miranda had gone too far or whether Kodak had pushed her to that breaking point. At the center of it all was a deeper story. A mother saying she felt ignored, a rapper trying to protect his image, and a fan base split between loyalty and concern. Some people defended Kodak immediately, saying personal matters should never be aired out for views. Others said Miranda sounded like someone who had been holding pain in for too long. And now the question is not just what was said. The real question is what happens when private pain becomes public content, and everybody online feels like a judge. Before we go deeper, comment where you are watching from. If you think Miranda was wrong for going live, press 1. If you think Kodak needs to answer the claims directly, press 2. And make sure you subscribe, because this story gets darker with every chapter. Miranda stops holding back. Miranda Johnson did not appear online sounding calm or carefully prepared. She sounded like someone who had reached the end of her patience. Her words came out fast, emotional, and heavy, as if she had been waiting for one final moment to say everything that had been building behind the scenes. And that is exactly why the live spread so quickly. It felt raw. It felt unfiltered. It felt like a private argument that accidentally became a public courtroom. She accused Kodak of not being the man people think he is when the cameras are off. She talked about responsibility, parenting, broken promises, and the feeling of being left to carry emotional weight while the world keeps celebrating him like nothing is wrong. For fans, this was not the version of Kodak they were used to seeing. They were used to the rapper with the strange interviews, the viral moments, the street stories, the wild confidence. Miranda was showing them another side, or at least claiming another side existed. What made the moment even more intense was the way she tied personal frustration to public reputation. She seemed to understand exactly how powerful Kodak's fan base is. She knew some people would attack her. She knew others would say she was chasing attention. But she still kept talking, which made viewers wonder if this was about clout or if this was about a person who felt unheard for too long. Online, the reaction split almost immediately. Some fans said Miranda should have handled everything privately, especially because a child is involved. Others argued that when private conversations fail, public exposure becomes the only way some people feel they can be heard. Kodak's name started trending in comment sections again, but this time the conversation was not about music. It was about trust, family, image, and whether fame gives someone the power to avoid accountability. Miranda's live did more than create drama. It forced fans to look at the uncomfortable gap between the artist they support and the man being described by someone close to him. And once that door opened, there was no easy way to close it. The health rumor that changed the tone. The moment the health-related claim entered the conversation, the whole story shifted from messy relationship drama into something much more serious. Fans can joke about arguments, money disputes, and social media shade. But when someone's health status becomes part of a public accusation, the energy changes. Suddenly, it is not just entertainment anymore. It becomes a situation where rumors can damage lives, reputations, and families before the truth even has a chance to breathe. That is why this part has to be handled carefully. Miranda made claims, and the internet repeated those claims at lightning speed. But there has been no verified public confirmation proving those allegations as fact. Still, once people heard it, they reacted like the entire case had already been solved. Clips were posted with dramatic captions. Comment sections turned brutal. Some fans mocked Kodak, some defended him, and others begged people to stop spreading unconfirmed information about something so personal. For Kodak, this was a different kind of pressure. He has survived public criticism before. He has been dragged for behavior, relationships, legal issues, and controversial moments. But health rumors are harder to shake because they follow a person in a more intimate way. Even if the claim is false, the stain can remain in people's minds. That is the dangerous part about internet drama. Sometimes the accusation travels farther than the correction ever will. Miranda's supporters argued that she would not say something that serious unless she felt pushed to the edge. Kodak's supporters argued that no matter how angry someone is, certain claims should never be thrown online without proof. Both sides had a point, and that is what made the debate so intense. Behind the viral clips was a larger question. When does exposing someone become harmful? When does speaking your truth cross into destroying another person? And when a child is connected to both people involved, how much damage is created before anyone thinks about the long-term impact? The rumor did not just make the story bigger, it made it heavier. It turned the drama into a warning about how quickly pain, anger, and social media can become a storm nobody can control. Kodak's silence gets louder. When the accusations started spreading, fans waited for Kodak Black to respond immediately. That is usually how celebrity drama works now. One person goes live, the other posts a story, then everybody watches the back and forth like a boxing match. But Kodak did not give people the kind of instant, clean response they were expecting. And in today's internet culture, silence can become louder than any statement. Some fans saw his quiet reaction as maturity. They believed he was refusing to feed the drama, especially with a child involved. They said not every accusation deserves a public answer, and that handling serious matters offline is sometimes the smartest move. But others saw the silence differently. To them, it looked like avoidance. They wanted Kodak to address Miranda directly, deny what needed to be denied, and clear the air before the rumors grew even worse. That is the trap celebrities fall into. If they speak too fast, people say they are defensive. If they say nothing, people say they are hiding. Kodak was caught in that exact space, where every move could be used against him. His image made the situation even more complicated. Kodak has built a career on being unpredictable and emotionally raw. Fans love him because he does not always move like a polished industry machine. He says what he feels. He shows his flaws. He gives people moments that feel unfiltered. But that same personality can work against him when serious accusations appear. People expect chaos from Kodak, so when chaos surrounds him, some fans believe it too quickly. Meanwhile, Miranda's live kept circulating. The more it spread, the more people filled in the blanks themselves. They studied Kodak's old posts. They pulled up past interviews. They connected unrelated moments and tried to turn them into evidence. This is how internet narratives are built, not always from facts, but from fragments. Kodak's silence did not end the conversation. It gave the internet room to write its own version. And once fans start writing the story for you, it becomes almost impossible to take control of the plot again. By the end of that first wave, one thing was clear. Whether Kodak responded or not, the damage had already started. Fans turn into investigators. The most dangerous part of celebrity drama is not always what the people involved say. Sometimes it is what the audience does after. Once Miranda's live hit the internet, fans turned into full-time investigators. Every old clip, every Instagram post, every past argument, every strange Kodak moment suddenly became part of a larger theory. People were no longer just watching the story. They were building cases. Some fans went back through Kodak's history with Miranda, looking for signs that their relationship had been tense for a long time. Others focused on his public behavior, trying to connect viral moments to the claims being made. It did not matter whether the connections were fair or accurate. In the comment sections, speculation moved faster than proof. This is where the story became bigger than Kodak and Miranda. It became a perfect example of how the internet treats famous people like puzzles. Fans take tiny pieces of information, arrange them into whatever picture feels most dramatic, and then defend that picture like it is confirmed truth. For content pages, the drama was gold. For the people involved, it was pressure from every direction. Miranda was praised by some and attacked by others. People called her brave, bitter, hurt, reckless, honest, and messy all at the same time. Kodak was defended as a misunderstood artist by some fans and criticized as someone who needed to take more responsibility by others. Nobody agreed, but everybody had something to say. The child at the center of their connection made the debate even more sensitive. Fans began asking whether public exposure helps or hurts when co-parenting is already complicated. Some said Miranda had a right to speak if she felt disrespected. Others said the internet never forgets, and one day their child could see all of it. That thought made the drama feel less like gossip and more like a future problem being created in real time. Because viral moments do not disappear. They get saved, reposted, remixed, and brought back whenever someone wants to restart the fire. By then, the story was no longer just about what Miranda claimed. It was about what the internet was willing to believe. The price of being Kodak Black. Kodak Black has never been the kind of rapper who moves quietly through the industry. His career has always carried two stories at the same time. One story is about talent, pain, survival, and a voice that connects with fans who feel like he speaks from a real place. The other story is about controversy, headlines, legal trouble, messy relationships, and moments that make people question whether fame has helped him or trapped him. That is why this latest situation hit so hard. Fans were not reacting to it in isolation. They were placing it on top of everything they already knew about Kodak. For some, it became another example of chaos, following him wherever he goes. For others, it became proof that people are too quick to judge him because of his past. The price of being Kodak Black is that every private issue becomes public entertainment. Every mistake becomes a headline. Every argument becomes content. And every person close to him has the power to change the way the world sees him with one live stream. But there is another side too. Fame gives Kodak a platform, wealth, and influence. It also gives him a responsibility that ordinary people do not carry in the same way. When millions of people watch your life, your choices do not stay small. The way you handle family, conflict, and accusations becomes part of your public story. Miranda seemed to understand that power imbalance. Whether people agreed with her method or not, her frustration appeared connected to the feeling that Kodak's fame gave him more control over the narrative. If he stayed quiet, his fans might protect him. If she spoke out, she would be judged. That is a difficult position, and it explains why the live sounded so emotional. Kodak, on the other hand, may have felt like he was being publicly attacked with claims he could not properly fight without making the situation worse. That is the problem with relationship drama online. Once it becomes public, nobody truly wins. One person may get sympathy, another may get defended, but both lose privacy, and the child connected to them loses peace. In the end, being Kodak means living with a spotlight that does not turn off, even when the story is painful. When pain becomes content, there is a reason this story pulled so many people in. It was not just because Kodak Black is famous. It was because the situation felt uncomfortable, emotional, and real. Viewers could sense that behind the viral clips was a deeper pain that had probably existed long before the live button was pressed. That is what makes modern celebrity drama so complicated. The audience sees content, but the people involved are living consequences. A live stream may last a few minutes, but the fallout can last for years. A claim made in anger can become a permanent label. A response posted too quickly can make things worse. A silence meant to protect privacy can be interpreted as guilt. Miranda's decision to speak publicly showed how pain can turn into a broadcast. Maybe she wanted accountability. Maybe she wanted support. Maybe she wanted Kodak to feel the same pressure she felt behind closed doors. Whatever the reason, the result was immediate. Her words became clips. The clips became headlines. The headlines became opinions from strangers who do not know either of them personally. Kodak's situation showed the other side of the same problem. When you are famous, people do not just listen to accusations. They consume them. They turn them into jokes, edits, reaction videos, and debates. Even serious claims become entertainment when they pass through the internet machine. That is where the story becomes uncomfortable for everyone watching. Because fans often say they want the truth, but many also want drama. They want receipts, reactions, anger, and emotional breakdowns. The messier it gets, the more views it brings. But the more views it brings, the harder it becomes for the people involved to heal. The most human part of this entire situation may be the one fans talk about the least. Two people connected by a child are now locked in a public battle where every sentence can be used as ammunition. That is not just celebrity gossip. That is a family conflict being watched by thousands of strangers. And once pain becomes content, peace becomes much harder to find. The image battle begins. After the live spread, the story became less about one moment and more about image control. Miranda had put her version of events into the world, and now Kodak's public identity was being tested. In hip-hop, image matters almost as much as music. Fans do not just support songs, They support personalities, stories, lifestyles, and the emotional connection they feel with an artist. Kodak's image has always been complicated. He is not marketed as perfect. In fact, part of his appeal is that he seems imperfect, unpredictable, and painfully human. Fans see him as someone who came from struggle, made mistakes, and still managed to turn pain into music. That gives him a kind of loyalty that many artists do not have. His supporters are not easily scared away by controversy. But this situation attacked a more personal part of his image. It was not about industry beef. It was not about rap competition. It was not about a wild public moment that fans could laugh off. It was about family, trust, and private accusations that made people question how he treats someone connected to his child. Miranda's image was also on trial. Some people saw her as a mother speaking from pain. Others saw her as someone using social media to pressure a famous man. That split created a war in the comments, with each side accusing the other of ignoring the truth. The reality is that both images were being shaped in real time by people who had limited information. That is how public narratives work now. Whoever speaks first often controls the first wave. Whoever responds better may control the second. But if neither side can fully prove their story, the internet fills the space with assumptions. For Kodak, the challenge was clear. If he wanted to protect his reputation, he needed to move carefully. Not with anger, not with jokes, and not with vague posts that would create more confusion. He needed a strategy that respected the seriousness of the claims without turning the situation into a bigger circus. Because in moments like this, the wrong response can do more damage than the original accusation. What comes before the fallout? By the time the first wave of reaction slowed down, the damage was already spreading in different directions. Kodak's fans were still arguing. Miranda's supporters were still defending her. Drama pages were still reposting clips. And the most serious claims remained surrounded by uncertainty, which made the entire situation feel unfinished. That unfinished feeling is what keeps stories like this alive. When there is no clear answer, people keep watching. When there is no final statement, people keep guessing. When both sides seem hurt, angry, or silent at different times, the internet keeps building new theories. But before the fallout becomes even bigger, it is important to understand what is really at stake. This is not only about Kodak Black being accused online. It is not only about Miranda Johnson going live. It is not only about shocking claims or fan reactions. At the core, this is about what happens when fame, family conflict, public humiliation, and serious allegations collide. Kodak now faces a choice. He can ignore the noise and hope the internet moves on. But rumors this personal do not always disappear. He can respond aggressively, but that may make him look careless. Or he can address the situation with maturity, protect the child involved, and separate verified truth from emotional accusation. That third option may be the hardest, but it is also the only one that could help slow the damage. Miranda also faces a choice. She can continue speaking publicly and risk the situation becoming even more painful. Or she can take the parts that need accountability into a more private and serious space. Public support can feel powerful in the moment, but it does not always create peace. The fans have a role too. They can demand entertainment, or they can remember that serious claims require caution. They can turn pain into jokes, or they can step back and admit they do not know the full story. As Chapter 9 closes, one thing is clear. This drama has not reached its final lesson yet. The real ending depends on whether the people involved choose revenge, silence, or responsibility. The lesson behind the chaos. The most important part of this story is not the viral clip, the loudest accusation, or even the way fans reacted. The real lesson is what happens when private pain gets pushed into a public space before anyone has time to handle it with wisdom. Kodak Black and Miranda Johnson may be the names trending, but the situation reflects something much bigger than one rapper and one baby mama. It shows how fast emotions, fame, and social media can turn a family issue into a public storm. Kodak has spent years building a career through raw emotion. His music connects because people believe he has lived through pain, struggle, confusion, and survival. But being real in music does not remove the responsibility to be careful in life. When children, family, and serious allegations are involved, every move matters. A careless post can make things worse. A disrespectful response can deepen the wound. And silence, if handled the wrong way, can leave room for rumors to grow. Miranda's side also carries a lesson. Speaking out may feel powerful when someone feels ignored, but the internet is not always a place of healing. It can amplify pain, but it can also twist it, mock it, and keep it alive forever. Once serious claims go public, especially health-related claims that remain unverified. They can damage reputations in ways nobody can fully control. That is why truth, caution, and responsibility matter more than going viral. The smartest path forward would not be revenge. It would not be more lives, more insults, or more public humiliation. It would be maturity. Kodak and Miranda are connected through a child, and that means peace should matter more than winning an online argument. They do not have to be together. They do not even have to like each other. But they should both protect the child from becoming part of a digital battlefield. For fans, the lesson is simple. Support the music, watch the story, but do not turn unverified claims into confirmed facts. Serious allegations deserve care, not jokes. Family conflict deserves boundaries, not endless entertainment. And sometimes the most responsible thing an audience can do is step back and admit, we do not know everything. If you believe Kodak should respond with maturity and keep the peace, press 1. If you believe Miranda should take the situation offline and protect the child first, press 2. Comment your thoughts below. Share this video with someone who follows hip-hop drama. Like the video, and subscribe for more rap news stories where we break down not just the drama, but the deeper lesson behind it.